I am actually a graduate of the Honors Tutorial College, and I was a magazine major myself, and I'm from West Virginia. So when I was doing my doctoral work at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, people would always ask me, where would you like to teach? And I would always say Appalachia, and they thought I was crazy. But I really love this part of the country, and it's a wonderful place to teach because the residents here have such rich stories to tell, and so few traditional media actually cover them that they're more than willing to talk to our students, which makes it really nice. I teach a variety of classes in the magazine sequence, particularly magazine writing classes, both the undergraduate feature writing and advanced feature writing classes. I teach the workshop class that produces Southeast Ohio Magazine, and I also teach an experimental class on multi-form and long-form narrative storytelling. I'll be teaching magazine editing and production this spring, and then starting next year I'll be teaching some graduate courses in public opinion theory and in survey methods. Probably at this point, Southeast Ohio is a wonderful experience because I serve as a coach and as a publisher, and so it's a wonderful place to see the students apply the skills that they have developed in their 4 years at Scripps and actually meet the information needs of a specialized audience. Southeast Ohio is a regional that serves 20 counties in Appalachian Ohio, and so they have an obligation to the subscribers of the magazine to tell interesting stories and to tell them factually correct. And it's great because the students are so used to being in the Athens and OU microcosm, and they actually travel out into Southeast Ohio, and it's such an eye-opening experience for them. I mean, some of them get lost and they have to ask directions, and some of them end up making lifelong friends with people who are vastly different in background than they are. So it's a great experience. Well, I demand that they give 100% effort because as a teacher, I give them 100% of my effort. And so I expect them to come to class prepared. I assign a lot of reading. I believe, especially in my writing classes, that you cannot become an effective writer without reading great literature and great magazine work from those who have come before you. I also expect that they come to my classroom armed with expert reporting skills. So many of the magazine majors come into the sequence thinking it's all about style and how they write and the word choices that they use, as opposed to the substance and the reporting content that they put in there. And what I try to instill in them is that no matter how stylistically they can write, no matter how strong their voice is as a creative writer, without solid information, excellent research, and top-notch reporting skills, they're never going to produce work that is going to resonate with the public. One thing is you need to be willing to get involved in journalistic activity outside of just the classroom. One of the best ways to maximize the Scripps experience starting as a freshman is to start to join some of the extracurricular organizations like SPJ or PRSSA or RTNDA, and then maybe not as a freshman. Sometimes the freshmen need a little time to get used to the academic and the lifestyle changes of college, but certainly by their sophomore year they should be doing actual journalism with some of the both campus media and community media. So write for the Post, sell advertising for the Post, do packages for WOUB TV, get involved in Ad Club and work on some of the national campaigns, join PRSSA and work on impressions and get a client. And also network with your classmates because we have such a strong student body and we have such an amazing alumni network that the people that you start the Scripps program with will be your colleagues throughout the rest of your career. And so to get to know your fellow classmates is really helpful. And one thing that's amazed me about Scripps from the time I was an undergraduate and now I see it as a faculty member, we have such amazingly talented students, but there is a strong feeling of teamwork and camaraderie and not the feeling of competition that is unhealthy competition. So our students really pull together to create exceptional product, which is so gratifying to me as a professor. I really view my role as a teacher as a partnership with my students, and like any successful partnership, it rests on successful communication. So for example, in the beginning of the quarter, I try to lay out all of the expectations that I have for the students in a very detailed syllabus. I also give them very detailed assignment guidelines so that they understand what I expect of them, what they're going to get out of the class in terms of the course objectives, and then I expect them to communicate with me. I want them to live up to the obligations that I have laid out for them, but also I want them to know that, like any successful partnership, if they're having a problem, if they need something, if things aren't clear, that they need to come and meet with me. So I'm religious about holding my office hours every week. I return emails to my students within 24 hours. I want them to know that if they're willing to put in the effort, I will invest the effort in them to make sure that they succeed. Oh, if only I had my crystal ball and I could tell you that. One thing that will definitely not change is the public's need for accurate, reliable information. I think where journalists will become particularly relevant in a society that is enmeshed in a cacophony of information is in providing analysis and synthesis of very complex information. Now, we might be delivering content to our subscribers in radically different ways. I mean, right now it's the cell phone, and it's via the computer, and it's via a BlackBerry, and in 5 years it might be on some different type of technology. But at the end of the day, it are serving as a filter for information, and finding the story and being able to weave that information together in such a way that it makes sense to an audience, that it compels an audience, is what's going to separate journalists from everybody else who's creating content. So it's an exciting time.